I wake up late for school, man. You don't want to go.
Hey, man.
Hey.
First of all, Happy New Year to you and yours. I hope everyone's having a lovely time.
Especially if you're in Europe. It's already next year, guys.
If you're not watching football, you're having a lovelier day than me. It's been a very unlovely day. All of my contest entries up in smoke. I had, you know what, Andy? Here's a reflection for you. Ready for this?
Let's a retrospective.
23 was a phenomenally lucky year until the last day.
Yeah, just the back doors on some sharp side. And, you can't. I guess we'll call them sharp sides because they were hot sides that moved and took money. But I mean, let's just call them hot sides. I guess the back doors.
Yeah,
that occurred on those were something.
Hey, Trevor Lawrence may not play. Let's take +7 for the Panthers. Oh, they got shut up.
Oh, they got. Well, that is a sad box score. I looked at that. Hey, bring St. Patrick.
Oh my God,
Carlberg. Yeah, I can't believe. Jaron Hall was. This was the decision. And to be fair, I mean, we've seen Dobbs play just as bad. We've seen Mullins turn it over from basically sitting on the ground somehow. Somehow he threw an interception from his ass. I mean, it's not like it could get that much worse. Jaron Hall, but then we saw that last pass, that flutter, and it was like, oh, that is not an NFL pass. It's like, the guys who really railed against DeVito, like, hey, it's fun, but he's not an NFL quarterback.
Let's handicap the rest of this game then. It is 23-3 Packers over the Vikings. I hope to Christ that the Packers do not blow this game, because that would be my lone winner of the day. Honestly,
I can't have that.
We talked about it. I staked down. I was distracted as a mofo this week. I did not do my homework. And that said, I had a massive amount of CLV, so I thought, hey, today might go kind of fine. It was kind of this. Actually, you know what lulled me to sleep is that our friend Brinks gave me a bunch of winners in college football over the bowl season that I bet like weeks ago, and they all kind of came through one after another, and I was like, oh, okay, cool. So yeah, maybe this is just running hot.
Maybe this is just a blessing.
Maybe I'm just running hot. Yes,
the reason for the season, guys.
But today was a disaster. Yesterday and today were a disaster, I guess, in total.
Maybe I should I'll put up the lines here. We got.
My gut says take the over. I don't think this is going to be a sleepy.
Over is 20.5 at Chris.
Oh.
So basically, there was one drive where Minnesota moved the ball, and it's still a team that's missing Devondre Campbell. We saw another line, Isaiah, what's his face, knocked out with that looked like a bad one. He was down for a while. They're still missing multiple pieces in the secondary. Minnesota's secondary is kind of banged up. Yeah, we'll take a fun over here.
Over 20.5. The angle here is Jaron Hall may not come out for the second half.
Or Jaron Hall turns the ball over in a fun position.
Or Jaron Hall turns over. Or the Packers get 21 by them damn selves, which is possible also, because this is indoor and they're faster and they're playing well and they're playing downhill. And I don't think Matt LaFleur. Which one coaches Green Bay? Matt? Is that right? Matt LaFleur? LaFleur doesn't seem like the guy that is going to take his foot off of the gas entirely. So, we can do even better. It's right in our face.
It's steaming
minus
down.
103.
Sorry. Yikes. Yeah, I took an old banner and changed it from 22 to 20.5. I didn't see it said over.
Right in our face.
Under. Sorry.
20.5 minus 103. Wonderful. Thank you to whoever out there was looking for our liquidity to get an under, an even better price.
You guys.
I don't know, man. I honestly don't have a strong read at all in this game.
No.
I don't have a strong read at all in this week. And honestly, I should probably just take a deep breath and kind of stake down on NFL from here on in.
I mean, we'll get into it, but there's some good ones. There's some lines moving. There's some weird games. There's a lot to be figured out on, like, the Rams. What are they going to do? They're locked in, but they could just punt against the Niners. It's going to get weird.
I have nothing else to say about
this. A lot of that will be later in the week.
I don't have a lot to say about this game. I
just want to say that the Packers should probably be up by more. Like,
Obviously, yes.
I mean, he missed him in the end zone on that early drive, and then on that fourth down. Like, that was a well-designed play, just off the back foot, kind of a bad throw. Still needs to catch that.
Yeah, we should have more points than we have, and it should be more for the Packers than we have. Amazingly, the Vikings, even though we saw Kirk Cousins and his naked son doing skull.
Yeah.
Andy,
I had the sound off.
Andy, you know what's kind of funny?
What?
I'm sure that whoever in the production room was like, "This'll be good. Let's do it." They assumed that people knew who Kirk Cousins was, and they assume people know what the skull is. You know who didn't know? A lot of people watching.
Really?
Oh yes.
Kirk Cousins is like in quarterback, and he has commercials now.
I turned it on in my household, and everybody's like, "What? Why is there a naked guy and a naked boy doing?"
You need a new family.
You're from Minnesota? Like, a lot of people from Minnesota were like, yeah, we do this here. Like, I'm telling you, around the country, there were a lot of people like, put him on a watch list.
Yeah, this guy.
I don't know who that guy is, but
this guy's a weirdo.
Oh, is he coming out on the Epstein list? He might be. He might be coming out on the Epstein list.
No, he's too nice. His wife. Do you remember from the last thing on Vikings anything? Do you remember his wife? Did you watch Quarterback?
No.
So I didn't catch the very last one, but I watched the first 5 or whatever, and it was a lot of Cousins content. But on the first one, like, his wife was so stressed during a game, she's like, I had to go put my praise music, I think she called it, like, church music praise or something music on. Like, yeah, I think they're pretty straight-laced people.
Yeah, well, there's never been anyone associated with anything religious that has ever had any crossover to anything related to sexual abuse of children. So we got that going for us.
Oh, God. You know what I'm going to do tomorrow?
Please not that.
No, but it's fucked because, like, it's such a terrible story, but it's such a well-made movie. I love Spotlight.
You're going to watch Spotlight.
That's just such a good film.
Dude,
it just makes me angry at the end.
Hey, man, I want to do something. I want to do something a little different.
We got real off topic.
I want to do something a little different and weird in this off season as we are winding down on football content. Yes. I had a good, wife and I, funnest day of Christmas vacation was we just got blacked out in Savannah. We had such a fun time. We got back to our house. We're still on Pacific Coast time, so it's like 2 a.m. and we're still wired. And we were like, okay, let's pour this bottle of wine. And let's come up with our top 10 movies of the 2010s, right? Like, we got enough space. Like, this shouldn't be that tough. It was impossibly tough. And we ended up with our top 10 and then 10 also in consideration. It was extremely fun. Spotlight did not make the cut.
It's kind of a bummer.
It's a good one, though. We talked about it.
Bummer.
It's a good one. It's a good one. We talked about it. But, ultimately... that was I think in the off season doing some fun, completely off topic shit like that, just to have fun conversations.
I saw fantasy, fantasy over at
sure, The Ringer.
He had his top 100 movies, which is too much
fun.
Of the year. So there's like 30. Because he's a big film guy. So
he saw them all.
Yeah. So there's like 30 that no one has ever heard of. But
sure.
No, we'll do some fun stuff in the off season. Oh, we should power rank the religions. Let's do some.
Dude, we'll just do like 1 week. We'll be like, only. Hey, I recommend this binge-worthy TV show, and then the next week we'll talk about it.
You're going to do book club. Should we do book club?
Book club is fine too. I'll do books 1 week. I'll do a television show 1 week.
Everybody's freaking, it's go to the gym, read more books. Like, we should do that. We should once a month, little time. Yeah. Like, hey, you had a month.
My New Year's resolution is to do more variety in our podcast. Does that sound right?
Well, that's what the off season should be for, because these do even for us, and we love doing these, but it gets repetitive after like 20 weeks, even for us. I love the off season because we can do whatever we want.
No doubt. My sister-in-law, who I'm at her house right now, made sure that she wanted to know what people thought of the new plants she got in the library, even though I don't know how many
snake
people.
Plant and a neon, or what is that?
I'll ask her. But she just wanted I think she mostly wanted Andy's opinion. Andy, what do you think of the new plants that she's got in the library?
The one that, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Tell her they're great.
I will. I'll pass that along.
Let's rank our top 10 gates. Watergate, gates.
Ooh.
What was the one the Clintons had?
Watergate?
No.
Oh,
it started with a W, didn't it? Whiskey. I don't know. Should we get into this? Should we recap the week?
Whitewater? I don't know.
Someone will have it in the comments, I'm sure.
Yeah, I don't know. All right, man.
Blowjob gate. Jesus,
blowjob gate? Was it blowjob?
Two people said blowjob gate. That certainly was not it.
Monica Lewinsky.
It had nothing to do with her.
No. We're talking about the real estate scandal that they had where they were getting prosecuted for
Whitewater. Maybe it was just Whitewater.
Whitewater? Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Not Heaven.
Okay.
Heaven's Gate. Heaven's Gate
is also different.
It was a whole different thing, but
very weird.
Counts.
Dude, very weird times. All right.
Do you want to talk about Thursday at all or start right into Sunday?
No, let's do a clean cut and we shall talk about
we gotta make this a podcast.
Week 16 and week 17. Week 17 and week 18. Are you ready?
Yeah, I gotta take let me hold up. Let me get the timestamp for this. 11:20.
Do you want to play the intro music as well?
Yes.
Does that matter?
Well, no, I add that later.
Do you?
Sure. Should we just play it?
Yeah, why not? That'll make it easier to find it.
Yeah, if I can find the music. Andy's not exactly fast at this. All right, we're going to play it. Boom.
Welcome to the acclaimed podcast, The Deep Dive, featuring your esteemed hosts, Andy Monitor and Drew Dinzik, powered by BetSperts.
Welcome to The Deep Dive. Great intro. I'm glad we found a bunch of guys who didn't get hurt for the season and Joe Burrow. Let's break down week 17, which was a fucking disaster. I lost a lot of bets this week. And, outside
of our betting though, like just from a macro, there's been a lot of weird weeks.
Yeah,
this one is up there.
Way up there.
This one was up there.
Yes. If I had to put two themes on this week, the first one is young quarterbacks late in the season went on the road and they got their absolute skulls crushed.
Mm-hmm.
The second theme that I took away from this week were teams you thought might be good that could do something at home, let you down.
There was a lot of letdown this week. So what was I can't even remember what Thursday was.
Barry, by the way, played the over with us.
Barry's on the over.
He's going to give us some cleave. We're going to get some cleave out of that after
Cleve LV.
Right. You know what didn't matter a ton this week? Cleave. It did not help.
CLV was not.
It did not.
Not it this week.
I'm sorry. Let me just reframe the setup. First takeaway was young quarterbacks on the road sucking. Second takeaway was backdoor city. Oh my God. I think I got backdoored in 4 games this week, Andy.
There was a lot of backdoors on the hot side.
Oh, it hurt. God, it hurt. Yuck. It's Joe Flacco's world and we're all living in it.
It is Joe Flacco. You know what? And it's continuing theme where if you look at it on paper, it's like, his total EPA wasn't great because a pick 6 is massive against that. But the rest of the game is clean enough and he does enough and he pushes the ball downfield like we keep saying. And it's a fun offense. And they did it against a pretty good defense. That game going over the total so incredibly easy with 2 top 5 defenses was really something. He's turned Njoku into Kelsey and Njoku have done like the thing from the beginning of the original Space Jam, where it's like he's stolen his powers to become a monster. because Kelsey's been scuffling for a few weeks, and Njoku with with the new quarterback in.
I don't want to be
good.
I don't want to be a troll, and I don't want to be a prisoner of the moment. But do we have a quarterback controversy in Cleveland for next year?
I don't know. That's so much money. What are they going to do, Drew?
Dude, they have money in Amari Cooper and David Njoku. Those players have never been better than they've been with
I know,
Flacco.
but you can't I'm not even sure Flacco would want to play another year. He fell asleep on the sideline, Drew. I think he's having fun, but yeah.
So what? He's winning football games,
not only
man.
that, they don't. If he
who the hell knows where Deshaun Watson is right now?
Well, that's the thing. He was on the sideline having a great time. He has a guaranteed contract.
Yeah, I know, but the rest of the team feeling super great about going over with Jamar with that.
Yeah, well, I think they're going with Watson because if Flacco does win a couple playoff games, there's 9 teams that would give him a decent contract if he wanted to come back next year. Cleveland doesn't have the cash with the contract they're paying Watson and Cooper and some of the other guys. So I'm not. I'm not super. It's fun. But
this is all a swirling wind of everyone getting fired in Cleveland, which it really is a bummer because Kevin Stefanski is now your slam dunk runaway coach of the year, right?
They did such a good job. I mean, to lose Chubb and your quarterback, and then just putting out that kind of defense every week, getting it done with all kinds of different quarterbacks. Dude, I didn't win the fantasy playoffs. I won the fantasy toilet bowl, but I started Joe Flacco in fantasy.
Why wouldn't you?
I'm just this is not where I pictured this team to be at the beginning.
He had to be top 5 quarterbacks this week.
He had a great week. It was fun. All so Breece Hall was great. The defense was not. Saturday, Detroit, Dallas. I didn't even want to get into the. I don't want to talk about the official.
No, we got to talk about the most important part. We got to talk about the most important part of this game. Mike McCarthy's usage of Tony Pollard is getting out of control, right? That was my key takeaway from this game. Is what are we doing here? It's not working. We're continuing to run this into the ground. The Cowboys have luck boxed their way, aggressively luck boxed their way into the 2 seed. Yet they are still determined to run Tony Pollard's corpse into a cloud of dust. In seriousness, the major takeaways of this game, Andy, were the coaching in the end of game for both sides was an absolute atrocity. Dallas more than Detroit, but both of them
as a whole, Dallas
real minus CV.
Yeah. As a whole, Dallas more than Detroit for sure, but just rage betting and continuing to rage martingale that 2-point conversion from the 7. It's at a certain point, Dan, we love your aggression, but once you're back at the 7, maybe, and I get, and people have pointed out that a tie does nothing for them. I don't think that game was going to end up in a tie, guys. The teams were moving the ball. There should have been more points. Obviously,
you could have won the coin
CD
flip. And
the way you moved.
You could have won the coin flip, and the way you moved the ball, you're thinking 50-50 if we go to overtime. Much more so than you are concerned about whatever the probability of making fourth and basically goal to go from the 7. Goal to go from the 7 is insane. And people were pointing out that they thought maybe they were just fucking around, hoping to draw them offsides, and they did. And then they moved to the 3 or the 4, and they went for it again. Honestly, man, I felt like Dan Campbell was a little reckless there, personally.
That's what I'm saying. It's he just kept hitting the button. One of these is gonna work.
No, go. He was hitting the button. Go. He was just punching buttons.
Slot tournament.
Dan Campbell just punches buttons. We know that about him. I actually give Dan Campbell some foresight for having a conversation with Brad Allen before the game about any type of trickery that they were going to.
My favorite was it Shefty tweeting that out that was this is the second straight week this has happened. No, this is the 900th straight week this has happened. Coaches, players, assistants, the refs get talked to before the game
every week.
That one blew my mind. Bad luck
guys,
for Detroit.
Just so you know. Yeah, bad luck for Detroit, and ultimately, I don't know that the NFL knew that was going to be as consequential as it was. But
Yeah,
boy, was it
thought Philly
consequential.
they thought Philly might win.
Boy, did that matter. Like, honestly,
Yeah.
we could literally, this is the dumbest and most obnoxious discourse to have. People fighting over what the right call was and how it would have influenced games. I hate it.
I
hate
really
it.
don't like reading tweets about
I don't like reading tweets
tackle
about it.
eligibles and reporting.
Andy, you know what the worst news of all is? We could have to deal with this now for weeks, which means like divisional round will come up and Detroit might have to go back to Dallas instead of Dallas going to Detroit, and or instead of Philly going to Detroit instead of Dallas being a wild card. Like there are a lot of permutation here where we are fighting over this in 3 weeks from now, and I am already sick of it. I'm preemptively fucking pissed.
It might be good for the NFC South winner. The way Philly's defense looking right now,
sure.
If I'm
Baker
Mayfield,
NFC,
even if I'm Derek Carr,
if you win the NFC South, you're thinking like
I can beat this team.
I just dodged Micah Parsons, and we get to play them.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I mean, Philly losing today was really pretty special. We'll get to that.
We'll get to that. What do you? Fuck rotation numbers. I'm just gonna go with New England.
Did you have any other thoughts on Dallas Detroit, by the way, and the way that played out? Any takeaways for betting that again if we see those two teams play each other, which we realistically might in that same setting in the second week of the playoffs?
So Dallas was the better team, probably. Dallas should have scored more, but both teams should have scored more. If Detroit's healthier in the secondary a couple weeks down the road, maybe it's a little closer where I'd have it, but I don't know. This is one of those where I like the under. I said the number was too high. I would have won if I'd have bet it, but it might not have been the right side. Like that game probably should have gotten a lot closer to 50. Like the total was probably close to being where it should have been. Okay. Maybe at the end it got a little high again. I'm sure.
Okay. Now let's be realists and reflect on the fact that Detroit's probably going to lose in round one to the Rams, and talk about the Cowboys side of the equation. Ready?
Yes.
Dallas was the clear biggest winner of week 17 in terms of championship equity by margin. Guys, they were
they hit their 5-team parlay.
They were stuck in the 5. They did. They were stuck in the 5. They were going to have to win 3 games on the road. And this is a team that has proven the last 2 weeks that they cannot travel. Now they potentially get 2 games at home. Like this is an enormous swing.
They could be a Niners upset away from hosting the playoffs.
The NFC, yes.
Before heading to Vegas.
This was massive weekend for the Cowboys. Honestly, like anyone that says differently of who the winners of this weekend were, they have not really thought through the implications of what happened. The Cowboys win in week 18, which they ought to. They punched their ticket to the 2 seed, and they might still blow it. Sure, they can lose at home. The Lions just taught you that. Sure,
13 of the playoff teams are gonna blow it, guys.
But like, if we've learned nothing else about the Cowboys over this run, it is that they are much more susceptible to the struggle on the road than they are at home. And so, for those reasons, the weekend's outcomes were massive for Cowboys and Cowboys backers and Cowboys fans. And just kind of keep that in mind.
And even Pizzola had Lions +6. What an ending for him.
Yeah, surely.
He's a he's a big Cowboys fan.
He's
so
like,
his team had the dream weekend.
Would love a middle here.
And he still won, yes. So very good.
Yes. You know who it wasn't great for? Anyone that had Cowboys -5.5. For those of us out there.
Hoping it was going to overtime garbage for those people.
And also, like, the fact that Mike McCarthy bottled that so aggressively at the end. Like, the fact that he's at this stage of his career and he is still fucking up that badly, that is a huge, huge red flag. Which means that even if the Cowboys do succeed this year, and then that begets Mike McCarthy sticking around for a while, just know that you have an extremely talented team that at the top of the fucking pyramid, the guy who's making decisions in games will fuck you several times a year because he does not know how to manage the end of game situation. Like, he does not know. I don't know what else evidence you need to see. He does not understand how to handle an end of game situation. Like Man Campbell is just being aggressive for the sake of aggressiveness. Fine. You want to act that way? Go for it. Like, you're going to win games you shouldn't win. You're going to lose games you should win. But it's probably going to break even in the long run. Like, literally what Mike McCarthy was doing was chaotic evil in terms of win percentage. Right? Am I crazy?
No, I mean, but it's not like we're breaking news.
No, but like this is like these are the facts, right?
Did you call him Man Campbell?
Yeah.
I like that.
It's the first time you've heard that?
No, yes.
Okay.
I've not heard that.
Okay.
I like that. Yeah, agreed. I mean, a well-trodden road that McCarthy may hold this team back. I think as a whole this year, I've been happy with McCarthy as a play caller as a whole, like, because they've done.
No, I'm just laughing because your commentary was elegant and very cutting. That was funny.
What's that?
The well-trodden road. McCarthy may hold them back. Yes, that is true. Yes. Everyone has said
it's true, yes. But I still.
You need a reason to doubt the Cowboys. It's Mike McCarthy.
I still believe they had better.
What I'm saying is, like, the Cowboys. I don't think the Cowboys can realistically win the Super Bowl, but they could realistically win the NFC as a 2 seed. Absolutely, they could. You need one Brock Purdy turtling against the likes of the Rams or the freaking Packers or whoever.
Johnson game, Gabe.
Yeah, you just need one. Oh,
injuries happen all the time, guys.
Yeah. Oh, dude. Oh, yeah. You don't even know. Like, Kyle Shanahan is cursed. Kyle Shanahan has a curse on his ass. Yes, he is cursed. He was given all the keys to unlock the brilliance of every aspect of National Football League football. But the monkey paw said, "Fuck you. Your quarterback's gonna get hurt every year." Chip. Anyway,
what's Sunday game you want to start with? Fins?
Yeah, I guess so. That was the most consequential, and it was the wrongest I was this week. What do you think?
It was it's like anybody who does any sort of analyzing box scores and breaking down that is going to, obviously every game that ends up like this is going to say, like, this was a lot closer than the score showed, but it was just the Ravens were perfect in the red zone. When a team goes 5 for 5 in the red zone, I feel like they don't lose very often.
Yep.
And the Ravens it was 8.9 yards per play, and they only converted 4 third downs, Drew, because they only had 7 that they faced. Like,
yeah.
When they got the ball, and often they got the ball in, good positions, they played well. Like I said, 8.9 yards per play, barely saw third downs, scored every time they get to the red zone. They didn't do the thing that they would often do earlier in the year when they were bottling games late, was like, hey, this is clearly the better team. We can see this. Lamar's the best quarterback on the field right now. This team is somehow up by 3 on a team they were favored by 8 against, and they might lose this game again. Like, they just didn't let that kind of Ravens show today and just put an absolute beat down. My favorite part of the game was I don't know the fella's name. He's a Miami Dolphins reporter. He was very upset that they threw for a final touchdown after, like, Chubb was injured and there was only a couple minutes left. He was very mad. And the replies are obviously very full of people reminding him that the Dolphins laid 70 on someone's ass this year. So maybe you should chill out tonight. It's new. Yeah, Joe Shad was mad.
Take a deep breath, big boy.
Take a deep breath. It's football. Things happen.
That is fun.
And obviously huge for the playoff stuff. That's his and MVP. MVP is likely locked up. The 1 seed is locked up.
Yeah, 1 seed is now Baltimore. MVP is now Lamar. You can put those 2 discussions to bed. And honestly, like, there are teams apparently that read their press clippings over the balance of a week, and it goes to their head. in a way that they play like they think they're the greatest, and they're not, right? It felt like this week the Ravens read their press clippings about how they were bullies and ass kickers and fucking monsters. And then they were like, yeah, we are.
Oh, yeah, we are.
Yeah, we are. Let's go show everyone we are these guys. And it was impressive, I have to say. Every aspect of this performance was impressive. Miami was a little bit competitive early, and then it just completely fell apart. Miami's defense, subject to a number of injuries coming into this game. I was like, ooh, I hope their good guys play. Well, they played a little bit. Some of them got hurt and went out early. Some of them really were ineffective. And honestly, Vic Fangio's defense got exposed aggressively. This was not competitive, largely because the Dolphins had no answers on defense for anything Baltimore wanted to do. And it got to the point where Baltimore was like, well, people don't think Lamar Jackson's capable of a 5-touchdown, $1 million EPA game.
Let's give
purposeful.
It to him. Did it feel like there was some intent?
It had those whiffs. But honestly, like sometimes yes, and sometimes it was literally just like the Seahawks game and the Lions game where it was like, all right, guys, we're home. Like we need to fucking score some points. Ready, go. Oh, here, this play works. Go. Right? Like Miami's pass rush was useless in this game. Like Lamar picked them apart down the field. He threw some brilliant passes. In the high leverage moments, he was as great as always. And honestly, like it was almost like the Ravens were battle tested after beating the Niners, that they were like, "Oh wow, you're a lot easier than that team."
I wonder.
You're much easier.
Sometimes you say there's this letdown after they won their Super Bowl, or they beat a good opponent in the road. There's a letdown spot. Sometimes a well-coached team with some veteran players, it can be the opposite, where it's like a confidence boost. Like, oh man, like we thought that was going to be a tough game.
We are as good as our
we
coaches.
Beat the shit out of that team. And also, what the funniest outcome I think for this year will be the Ravens not just winning the Super Bowl, but like demolishing people 3 times in a row, and then just Lamar mentioning Mike Florist in his speech. Like comes down to that one guy in Twitter.
Dude,
calling me out.
I have been specifically critical of, you think blank and blank are a good team. No, the Ravens are those guys.
Very good.
They are. Those Ravens are those guys. If anyone beats the Ravens in the AFC, I will tip my hat at this point. Like, they look unbelievable. Bills probably the one team I would say have the ceiling to challenge them at current strength. But even that, the Bills are a freaking liability a lot of the time. They got what, gifted 15 points at home today, and they won by 6. Like, what the hell happened there?
Let's do that one next. Weird start because of the the kickoff return puts you in a hole, and it was another one where they had the game a few weeks back where Josh Allen didn't need to do much because they were running the ball so crazy effectively, but this one felt different. It was I don't know. The Bills didn't impress, I think, anyone here. Because in the end,
how could they?
Oh, man. Yeah, it was like this is kind of a game. You're at home. This is a team, they didn't take advantage of the turnovers. That's the other part. So I get that you were down 7-0 off the bat, but then the Patriots went and turned the ball over in the shadow of their goalposts, like 3 times in a row, and I think they got 2 field goals off 2 of them. They didn't take anything. They just didn't take advantage of that. And the passing game looked rough. They got their win. They moved on. They set up this, division tilt with Miami for all the marbles, but they can't show up and look like that next week and expect to win versus Miami.
No chance. And one would think that Miami can't show up and look like they look today and stay within 50 of them.
I know it's like the fraud bowl from the other week with Dallas.
We had a fraud bowl.
Oh, it can't show up and look like that bowl.
I have no take on Buffalo because I didn't watch much of that game other than like being like, really, how is this not a 30-point margin? What are the Bills doing? Because they intercepted Zappy infinity times. You had a young quarterback on the road with no hope of winning a game, and you still only won by 6. That's terrible.
I had a joke for this because it's like, I really think Miami was susceptible to tight ends. So a team with Mark Andrews, of course, they scored 50 points. Like crazy. Like he could be back. at some point.
I honestly, the absence of Mark Andrews has forced the Ravens offense into tendency breakers, which are super valuable this time.
Yeah.
Like it's made them better. They were the Ravens offense were the late bloomers we were looking for. And I'm sad I haven't made more money on that, but it is what it is. Atlanta, a dome team, went to Chicago. It snowed. They lost. I have no other opinions. Houston gets C.J. Stroud back. They throttle the shit out of an absolute piece of shit
your
Tennessee
opinion
Titans
on,
team. I have no opinion of that.
Drew. Draft a quarterback or keep Fields?
Draft a quarterback, obviously.
Thank you. Atlanta, get a different quarterback in there, correct?
Get a different quarterback, obviously.
Both of them are wrong. Fire your coach or not? Both teams. Answer.
Fire your coach, both teams, yes.
Both teams. It's kind of where I'm at. I didn't have a lot of notes in this game, too. Atlanta had 4 turnovers to 0. Wonder how they lost the game. Heineke was out when his ankle flared up. Not a lot of notes here. Ugly game for Atlanta on the road.
Terrible.
Houston, I did not watch any of Houston, Tennessee, man.
Dude, CJ Stroud was back. He looked rusty early. He sharpened up middle. He won convincingly. That's all you need to know.
Levis got hurt. I don't know what his status would be. It doesn't matter. They're eliminated. They're playing in a game that matters for somebody else.
Honestly, it's going to be Tannehill against the Jags, I think. Tannehill has the opportunity to spoil the Jags party.
I think that's probably – if you're the Jags, you'd rather face Levis, so it's probably going to be Tanny. The only notes I had here were Titans were 1 of 12 on third down.
Is that right?
The only turnover. Yeah, you're not going to.
I will say this: we can make some commentary about the Jags, but they were amazing today at home. Let's just jump to that one now.
Yeah,
the wrong aside for me for the week was Carolina against the Jags. The Carolina offense was it was so impossibly bad. I don't even really know how to wrap my head around it.
Do you have the box score open?
No, I don't. But
you want to guess their yards per play?
I know that at halftime it was 1.0 or 1.5.
It got better.
I can't imagine
it got better.
I can't imagine it got that much better.
It was like 2.2, 2.3.
Oh, that is correct about how bad it was. I will tell you this: the first drive of the game where they were going for it on fourth down, you're like, oh yeah, we got some aggressiveness. Cool, let's go. And then you're like, oh wait, it's because their kicker can't kick a field goal. Oh shit. They're live all of a sudden to get shut out in this game. And then it's like, oh man, if CJ Beathard gets 12 points, they probably cover. And sure enough, that's how it went. I will tell you that Jacksonville's defense got a healthy pass rush on Mr. Bryce Young. Bryce Young got hit hard early in this game. They took him to the blue tent and they put him back in for reasons completely unknown to everyone watching. Why? He obviously is not right. Why put him back out there? They did it instead of just throwing Andy Dalton in there. In the end, Carolina is an atrocity and a joke and a forgettable franchise and a forgettable team right now. And more people are going to get fired likely. And Jacksonville has saved their season for at least 1 week, even though they have no fucking chance of doing anything in the playoffs. So you might as well just go home. Just go home. The Jags have no
you know how much income you can get off a playoff game?
That's wonderful. Shad Khan needs
that money. He needs that
extra.
Whack.
He needs that extra 10 million in gate revenue.
Tepper whipped a drink at a Jags fan, which is pretty funny.
Oh my God.
Did you see that from his booth? He got it out the window onto a guy.
That was the best defense the Panthers played all day.
Yeah.
Or maybe it was the best offense. That was the best offense the Panthers played all day.
So I didn't watch this. I had this written down that I wanted to check into this. Did they not take field goals because Pinero was
early in the game?
It was like in pregame warmups. He pulled a hammy.
Yeah.
And I don't think they had another kicker, so it's not like they scored either way.
Yeah. Didn't matter either way.
Did not matter. Ugly
Just
game.
a fucking joke of a game. Panthers absolutely killed me today. They gutted me today. Vegas Indy, backdoor, still sore for Vegas coming in and scoring that touchdown on 4th and goal to Devontae Adams. I'm sick about it. Every other fucking shitty road quarterback today did nothing. Aiden O'Connell did something. Indianapolis's defense and Gus Bradley continue to find ways to fuck me in the ass. Indy can go fuck themselves. I hope they are a lay down next week against the against the Texans and then the Jaguars lose, because I do not want to see the Colts in the playoffs, and I do not want to see the Jags in the playoffs, but it may not be up to me.
Yeah, I had them to miss the playoffs from a few weeks back, so I would also like Houston to play well next week. I don't think it takes that much for them to miss. I think the loss just pushes them out, unless maybe the Jags and a couple other teams lose and they end up as a 7 anyway. Yeah, I wasn't happy with this. Obviously, I maybe underrated the defense for the Raiders a little. I thought they were getting their flowers a little too much. It's been a good defense. It's played a lot better. I don't know what to make of what they're going to do next year for coach. This is another one where they need a coach. They need a quarterback next year. They're not in a good spot for a team. No turnovers in this game. Whatever.
Yeah.
Weird.
How about the fact that no, it was a weird one.
I kind of had Aiden O'Connell pegged for a turnover or two.
Yeah, same. Another weird one. The Rams eked out a win against the Giants.
But if you were just like a Giants fan and you just wanted to win,
another backdoor ass taking, my God. Oof. Ouch.
Ass windows up. That's sweet. Yeah, they should.
I'm gonna be walking like a cowboy for a week, man. I got backdoored 3 times in the morning.
Rode the trails. Ty, for anyone, I saw this take on Twitter that said like Tyrod Taylor wasn't an upgrade. I don't know. I would like to smoke the drugs that you were smoking because I enjoy drugs.
Oh, Tyrod Taylor played
like,
a game today like he was literally like, this might be my last ever.
he was slinging. Yeah, that's a really good take. It was like he really like, hey, this is my retirement game. I'm done after this. It was good. It was good at times. Obviously, the punt return was crazy. The 2-point conversion, it was right there. They asked him about it, and he said like he was stuck. His brain was stuck, like in between running and throwing, and that's what caused him to not throw that good one because he had it. They should have won that game.
They had it.
Congrats to we mentioned it on the show. That was another playoff bet I'd made. The Rams. Some people got way better numbers than me, but the Rams are in. Yeah, they were like 2-1 to make the playoffs.
It's the only good thing that happened to me today, man.
I know.
The only good thing.
So I have a Bills to make the playoff at 4. And somehow at the end of the day, I'm just like, what happened?
How did they not?
They're not in.
They could lose next week, and they could not get in.
No, there's not that much that has to happen to knock them out. They can be the 2 seed. They can be like the 8.
Hey, did you see the Eagles lost to the Cardinals?
This game made me more mad than anything. Not just because I bet some Swift overs. But like the one drive that they used Swift late in the game, and he was knocking off 10 yards of carry. It's like, the run game against a bottom 5 run defense is suddenly working.
Surprise!
Weird. Like the game plan put together by the offense was trash. The defense we know was an issue. Like they beat themselves. And yes, the Cardinals played very hard. Kyler was very good in the second half, but Cardinals at 6 points at halftime. You can't give up 30 points to 29 to the Cardinals.
21-6 at halftime. I tuned out. I was like, okay, good job, Eagles. Well done. You bounced back. You got your get right.
That was the game state that I was like, hey,
lost.
This is the game state for Swift to get a bunch of carries, right?
That was the game state, not just for Swift to get a bunch of carries, but literally for the Eagles to win by margin.
Yeah. And actually, early in the game, it was flipped. Arizona was controlling the ball on those. They were long field goal drives. But
I was watching very carefully. Like it was 21-6 at halftime with the Eagles having a deficit of time of possession by like 15 minutes. Like it was a crazy disparity of time of possession at halftime. But there was still such a disparity of points, and then the Eagles, I think, got the ball first.
Yeah, it was
or whatever.
It was first. The interception was
90-yard pick six,
pretty big. Sure. But it put them in a spot
for the Eagles.
Yeah, that's
play the game they wanted to play.
Yeah, exactly. Put them in the spot to play the kind of game they want to play in the second half that they've been doing for 2 years. Cluden, you're right. Yeah, they never punted. It was just bad endings to every drive, essentially, even with the field goals being points, but. Getting into that position, whether it was, the Cardinals were moving the ball, but you had a chance to just do what you can do that you've always done and just not let the Cardinals have the ball very much in the second half, not worry about it. basically just 3 long drives, 2 field goals, and a touchdown. Like, the game is very over. You beat the tar out of them. But yeah, ugly loss.
They
Probably
lost.
almost certainly cost them the division.
While completely changed the complexion of the NFC with that result. Like the Cardinals beat the Cowboys in absurd fashion earlier this year, and we thought that was just a weird game. Well, it turns out the Cardinals are killers in a couple ways and have equalized things.
They swept the NFC East.
Did they win any other game?
They have 5 wins now. No, they have 4 wins. I think that's it.
Oh, you know what? They lost to the Giants. Did
Giants. Oh, yeah. I thought they had that win. Never mind.
They had that win in pocket, but they blew it against the Giants.
What was their other win? Oh, the Steelers.
It wasn't the Ravens, although they fucking covered in that game.
Yeah, they're 4-12 right now.
Who did they beat? They didn't.
They beat the Steelers.
You know who they did? Oh, they beat the Steelers. That's right. They did not beat
the
Niners with aggressiveness. All right. Well, whatever the case is. What a clown! Clown. I don't understand what's going on with the Cardinals. I didn't understand that, and I don't understand why they're trying to win. But good luck. Good luck in the future.
I will say they didn't draft poorly the last year or two. Like, if they can continue to do that and make the right free agent acquisitions, they're not that. If they decide Kyler's somebody we're keeping because
it takes no time.
They can be a wild card team next year
if you have good quarterback play, and he's a good quarterback. So surely, Tampa lost.
Just fucking no show.
What the fuck, man? What was that?
Did you see the Vikings get the ball? It was a really good punt for them. The Tampa Bay just really, really no-showed. Somebody had a really good tweet, and I cannot give them credit because I don't know who it is, but they said, and I'm paraphrasing because I don't know which defense they use, but they said New Orleans plays like, the 85 Bears or the 01 Ravens or whatever they used like 4 times a year. Like, this is just the random where the New Orleans defense just shows up in, complete dominance defensively, because this is a box score that is going to be very, very deceiving. If you look at the yardage, Tampa Bay had let's look at the team stats here. 349 yards of offense.
Yep.
Almost 200 of those came with less than 10 minutes left in the game on the final 3 drives. One of them was a drive they didn't even score on, where they were down by 3 scores at the start of that spot. Like, that was almost all garbage yardage, and congrats to them. They got themselves kind of back into the game, but Baker didn't look good.
Baker got hurt.
And it's not as if the Saints offense was humming along at times. They still had their struggles, but they did plenty to get this win. I mean, Carr was fine.
I don't understand what's up with the Saints, but whenever their backs are against the wall, they play a great game.
Well, you get we didn't even get the Evans-Lattimore fun. That's the fun part about this matchup.
True.
We didn't even get to have it. And the defense really showed up, though, for the first. I mean, say what you want about the garbage yards, whether it was, the team finally breaking through or them playing a little softer. I didn't catch a lot of the end of the game, but
I'm not enjoying this play calling from the Vikings. What are we doing, guys?
What do you mean? They
not? Oh, they did?
Yeah.
Oh, fuck yeah.
Johnny Munt was a man with a real
Johnny Munt.
Will to survive.
Give us one more, Johnny Munt. All right. Good deal.
They go for 2 here, though. 21.
Uh-oh.
I would just kick this.
Yeah, just get, guys.
Let's not get cute.
Let's kick some extra points. Let's just kick extra points.
All right, what's the next game?
The Niners got right against this Washington atrocity.
That was just a business trip win. Like,
business trip.
They didn't do a whole lot. They didn't.
It was close in the first half. They didn't get CMC a
stinks.
touchdown, even though he's minus 900 to score any time.
I know. I was going to look and see if somebody could get down for a no on that.
That was a big old number. CMC didn't even play in the second half, did he? It was Elijah Mitchell time for the most part. Correctly so.
Sounds like he's okay.
Give him some fucking rest. Get him right for the playoffs.
Well, that's what I'm saying. It sounds like he's okay.
What
And
are
it
we
was just that,
doing?
hey, it's week 17 and he's carried the ball a lot and we're winning. We don't need him. Even when it was 10-10, it didn't feel like this was super in doubt.
Yeah.
Felt like they
Right.
were going to kick it up. Obviously, it was
Yeah.
supposed to be a Brissett game. This total was, did it get steamed down in the end?
I wasn't watching, man.
I kind of was paying attention because I thought it ended in minus 14.49. It did kind of take a little under money again. I think when the Howell band took back over, Howell's not good.
Howell's not good. Jacoby Brissett gave the Washington Commanders much greater of a chance.
Yeah.
Did not play. Pittsburgh beat Seattle and secured another consecutive winning season for Mr. Mike Tomlin, who will get 0 Coach of the Year votes again. Wonderfully done. Wonderfully done, you fucking assholes.
Like an unbaptized baby, just spending forever in purgatory.
Forever.
That's
Forever
from my
in
catechism
purgatory.
classes.
Right. We need to get Tomlin baptized ASAP.
Catholicism is dark. 9-8 probably incoming.
Baptized ASAP.
Good win. They were 3 for 7 in the red zone. That was one that kind of popped out. Like, oh, yeah, they were down there a bunch. Like
Major takeaway is Pittsburgh does not have a quarterback of the future. Pittsburgh might play their way into the playoffs because they get to take on a Balto team that is going to rest all of the important players and has a bunch of important injuries. Pittsburgh might get a wild card.
That has been steamed over the 3 now. We're sitting at 3.5. Pittsburgh favored.
We are very likely results away from Buffalo getting an effective bye.
Yeah.
Do we need to think about them more seriously for FC?
I just don't know if they compete heading into Baltimore.
But they might not get them until AFC Championship game.
That's what I'm saying.
Okay, so Buffalo Miami is winner 2 seed, which means
that's what I'm saying. I think a rollover. I think a rollover because it goes through
AFC Championship game.
I think a rollover for Buffalo still pays better, and that includes betting them this week.
Okay.
A 4-game rollover. I think.
Okay, because if they lose this week, it's not happening.
Yeah, probably.
Okay. But if they win this week, then their equity swings from like 10% to 50% to win the AFC.
Yeah, if they win this week, that's the nice thing about a rollover. Like the future's dead if some other things go wrong. I think they can win and still not be in, right? There's like a weird 4-way tie scenario.
No. Against the Dolphins?
They would still be a wild. They'd be a wild card still.
The winner of Dolphins Bills.
Oh yeah, they win the
division. As far as I understand it, is the AFC East champion.
I misspoke. I'm saying,
and honestly, is the 2 seed, which means the soonest you have to play Baltimore is.
Yeah, no, I had it backwards. I'm saying they can lose but still get a wild card.
Yes,
if other things go right. That's what I'm saying. Doing that.
True.
Doing that rollover. It'd be disadvantageous, obviously, in that spot. You'd lose your first shot.
But if they're on the road this week against Miami, and then they have to go on the road as a wild card team, it's not happening. It's not. They need to win this game to have realistic chance.
I'm going to look at that price. It's worth thinking about. What else we got? Is that all the games?
No. We just got by Pittsburgh, Seattle, because the commentary on that was literally Pittsburgh is in the situation to get the 7th seed, which means if they do, they're playing Buffalo. Buffalo in the 2-7 all of a sudden could be an effective bye, which is weird. All right. Kansas City finally capitulated. Cincinnati finally capitulated. Kansas City won and covered by 8. That was a weird game. Front door cover for KC.
They were down 17-7. They kicked 6 unanswered field goals to cover all numbers.
Weird. Just the weirdest outcome I've ever been a part of.
Pacheco, who was questionable at times this week, huge day. Rashid Rice, huge day. That part, the second part, getting a big day out of a wide receiver, that's the Chiefs might be dangerous again in the playoffs because they have a good coach, they have a good quarterback, they have some pieces on defense. Like if they get a wide receiver or two contributing, and Kelsey is, maybe get some rest, heals up, looks like he's, looked like he looked in the middle of the season. Still, obviously, it's the damn Chiefs. So I don't know. It was weird that just so many drives in a row ended in field goals. And yeah, if you had Cincinnati +7, +7.5, sorry, that was an ugly cover. Although just holding them to all those field goals and then still
I don't want to talk about it.
Yeah, sorry.
I don't want to talk about it.
One of those
Kansas
weeks.
City is so mega fucking flawed. They still might be your AFC champion, but it's going to be because Pat Mahomes finds another gear and just elevates this group of clowns. They're a goddamn mess on offense. Chargers lost to the Denver Broncos 16-9 in a game that was started by Jared Stidham and Easton Stick.
Both quarterbacks got to 200 yards.
Both quarterbacks got 200 yards.
I don't know if I'd have put money on that.
I'll tell you what, man. Both of these guys, this was a standalone broadcast in the Los Angeles region.
Oh no!
If you were watching television in LA in the afternoon, you got one game, and it was Chargers Denver, and you got to see a lot of Jared Stidham doing this. Like he was goofing off at the camera the entire game. It was the weirdest thing I've ever been a part of. Like he could not, like every time something quasi good or quasi bad happened, that dude found the camera, eyes locked on, and just made an absolute absurd face. It was very, very weird. I don't understand what was happening.
I like it. I didn't watch much of that game. If you'd have made me set a line for total turnovers in the game, I'd have probably gone at 2.5 and been wrong on that over. There's only one. Teams went 0 for 3 in the red zone, but we'd expect. The lead running backs for both teams had like 40 yards. It was a pretty trash game. Congrats to anybody who had faith in Stidham and did grab that -3. It was one of those where it's a clear downgrade. It was one of the weird games where everyone's like, oh, he might be an upgrade from Russ. No, he's not. But at the same time, it's still Easton Stick, and I do not blame anyone for wanting to bet on the Broncos in this spot. The Broncos, despite the win, were eliminated.
Yep, Denver officially eliminated. The Bengals have a 20% chance. The Raiders have a 13% chance. The Texans are at 40. The Colts are at 48. The Jags are at 75. What a bunch of fucking fraudulent clowns.
The Raiders in the playoffs feels wrong.
Oh my God, does it ever? Does it ever?
Basically.
Although, you know what? Raiders defense?
It's been good.
It's been
As
good.
I said, I underrated it. So here's the thing about the 7 seed. Whether it's Pittsburgh, Indy, I can live with Houston. All right, that's who I nominate Houston. I would like Houston to. So if Houston wins and Jacksonville wins, is it Jacksonville wins the division, Houston wins is the 7?
Sure.
Because Indy is currently in that spot. Indy would obviously lose because it'd be Houston.
Fundamentally,
Pittsburgh is behind Houston.
Fundamentally, Indy Houston is for a playoff spot.
Okay.
Whether it's the 4 or the 7, we have no clue.
That's what I would like then. I would like Houston as the 7 seed. That's a better.
No question.
Yeah, I'm showing the Raiders is not in the picture when I'm looking at this. They're 7-9 now.
Raiders are eliminated. The Raiders.
Yeah,
are eliminated.
you said 12%.
I was looking at an ESPN projection.
Okay,
it's very, very outdated.
I'm showing you much lower percentage.
The Broncos are eliminated. The Bengals are eliminated. The Raiders are eliminated.
Jets.
There are only 9 teams with a chance at the 7 seed. It is the Bills, the Colts, the Texans, and the Steelers. 2 of those teams will get in. 2 will be left home. That is where we are.
Yeah, thank you. That scared me for a second when you said that. I had to pull up.
Man.
I had to pull up the conference standings. So
I had some sort of ridiculous playoff percentage thing that was outdated. My apologies.
I will be cheering for Denver next week, even though they are a dog. I have small Raiders under 7.5. So I guess
it's live.
maybe yeah, it's live. We need them to lose to Stidham.
Jarrett Stidham, a former Raider.
Yeah. He was the
gonna
guy.
Go defend Jarrett. Yeah, he's going to go defend McDaniel's honor. All right. The Eagles are in. The Rams are in. The NFC South has yet to be decided. The Niners are the locked-in 1 seed. The Cowboys are in. The Lions are in as a home team, but we know nothing else.
Detroit could get the 2, but it would require some wild. Like Dallas would have to lose as a 2-touchdown favorite at Washington.
Yeah, and honestly, I'm looking at the Cowboys right now. Right now, they apparently have the 2 seed over the Lions.
Yeah,
based on the tiebreak, based on head-to-head
from today or yesterday
from Brad Allen.
Yeah, Brad Allen. No, that's what I'm saying. It's massive.
All right, we've gone long enough. We got to go back to this now. You ready?
What do we? I don't know. I have no idea what you're going to say.
Brad Allen very obviously has a very tenuous grasp on what is going on a football field.
I know. I don't feel bad when I have to look up the rules.
As evidenced by many years of calls that are head scratching.
Have you talked to Brad, like our Brad from the UK? Has he gotten hate? Has he gotten
I made a joke about it.
I know you. I saw that joke about it. I thought about it.
And then he was like, "I'm not the referee," and I was like, "I wonder if he's getting messages."
That's what I'm saying.
I looked it up. Don't.
Oh no, I didn't. I didn't even think of just like.
There are a lot
quotes.
of kill yourself messages. It is horrific.
His Twitter handle is Brad Allen NFL.
It's bad. It's so bad.
I would just assume that's
it's so bad.
Oh,
it's so bad. It's so bad.
Nothing
Do not
like
look it up.
when Twitter turns on you. When Twitter turns on you,
it's
nice
bad.
because you can put your phone down.
You can just turn it off. Yeah, you can turn your phone off. But no, going back to what happened, I think it's very, very straightforward, which is Brad Allen has a tenuous grasp of what's happening on the football field at all times. And Dan Campbell sent out a trickeration package to deceive the Cowboys, and he deceived the Cowboys and the head referee. And the rest is history. And honestly, the ref thought he checked 70 in as the eligible receiver, called 70. And I guess here's what
we need to do.
No, yeah. Here's a real quick sidebar. How did I get here? Right. Do you have opinion on when the referee says to everyone in the stadium via microphone that number 70 is eligible? Is that now back on the quarterback and coach to be like, wait, did you just say 70? Because we checked in 68. Right? Is there a back check? Is there no back check? Because I honestly, in my profession, if you don't back check that, that's a problem. That's a problem. It's on you.
I know, but the thing about your profession is there's no 25-second play clock in geology.
That's true.
Seismology.
That's true. It's a 25 million year play clock. Sure.
Yeah, you're working in epochs and eons and eras.
Sure. But if somebody's like, I heard this.
Sucks is the time. The time.
I heard this,
sucks.
And then you are like, okay.
It was such a high leverage spot too. Like if it happens in the first quarter, it's just not a thing.
Sure. And if it happens at all, it's only a thing because Mike McCarthy, fucked off with 40 seconds inside the 2-minute warning and decided it was more important to try a deep shot to Brandon Cooks than taking those 40 seconds off the clock. So, all right. Brad Allen has now decided the Cowboys are likely the 2 seed, the Lions are likely the 3 seed, and we're going to have to relive this again in a couple of weeks, which I am not excited about. Any final thoughts on week 17 before we move to week 18? Hopefully it's better for me as betting.
I was going to say, as far as week 18 goes, I feel like they're going to botch where they put the games. Like I'm going to be mad.
You mean which time slots?
And people have brought this up. They've said last year there was a game that was this is for the division, and they put it in Saturday night. And I feel like they're going to do that with Miami Buffalo again, which maybe is fine.
Do you know what? Okay, well, tell me where the landing slots are. Even
no, they're not. Nothing is announced. They're going to announce everything after the game.
No. Do we they're going to have Saturday games and we don't know what they are yet?
Yes. So here's the thing: there is a early and a late Saturday game. I had to go on the NFL's website to figure this out today
So
because
two of these games are getting moved to Saturday.
So 2 games will be at Saturday at like 4:30 and 8:15. So that is the time slots were decided long ago. They just don't know the team. So we're gonna have a 4:30 and an 8:15, and then Sunday there is the noon games. There's the 3:25 games, and then one Sunday night game. So the slots are there. They just don't decide where all the games are until after all the games are played today. Then they announce it either tonight or early tomorrow morning. No Monday Night Football, obviously. So I just feel like they're going to botch it. And I guess as long as I get Miami and Buffalo as a standalone game, I won't be super mad. But I really think it should be Sunday Night Football. That's such a good one to end with.
Dude, this sucks because they're going to put Buffalo and Miami on Saturday night. Because that decides.
That's what I said.
That they're going to do it. That's what they're going to do.
I know
they're going to do that, and that's
they did it last year.
That's going to decide the 2 seed, and then they're going to put Jacksonville, Tennessee on Sunday night because that's going to decide the division, irrespective of whoever wins Tennessee.
Tannehill on Sunday Night Football. Like,
Christ, you know what Christ, I don't want to.
And I know. So some of the scheduling will be to say like, hey, here's a team that might rest players if they know how this other game went. They have to be, they have to occur first. Then, like some of the scheduling is based on that. They do things like that to make sure that oh my God, why do you catch that pass 5 yards to end the line of scrimmage? You stupid shit.
That's a great question.
Let the ball go. My goodness. So,
yeah,
if they do something, obviously, Miami Buffalo is my pick for the Sunday night. If they have to do Saturday night, whatever, I guess.
It's just an extreme. That was just an extremely dumb pass. All right, sorry.
And there's not a lot of other high leverage games. There's a lot where good teams might be resting players. Honestly, I kind of want to see what the Rams do against San Francisco. If they go for it, that'd be a fun game.
What's at stake for the Rams? 6 versus 7 seeding?
Yeah, there could be it's like, hey, do we want to play Detroit? Do we want to play Dallas?
You'd much rather have 6.
Yeah, but it's also a road game at San Fran. Right now that line is way down. It's almost like assuming San Francisco's not playing people. So,
it looks bettable Rams.
I think it's one of those things where if San Francisco plays everybody, it's a different conversation. But if you're like getting wind of, hey, San Francisco is resting people, you ramp your ass up for that game and you try to win it.
Yeah, that makes sense. So you can't get anything right now in terms of bet size on Rams money line. So it's kind of not worth it. But fuck, man, this Rams alt started pass.
Myself and B-Rad were talking about Wellstead, Tyler Huntley as a dog. He's just the perfect, he's perfect for the system. He's filled in before.
Plus Pittsburgh is terrible and they're on the road as favorite.
Pittsburgh on the road with their defense still kind of porous on the back end. Like I might be betting Huntley. I probably add the +4 too, but I'm straight up for sure.
Oh my goodness.
Green Bay winning now would put them in the 7th spot.
Do you think Buffalo comes off 3? We know we're not seeing Waddle.
That's a fair number.
God, man, what a way to fumble the bag, Miami. Good Lord. What a letdown today. That was embarrassing.
It sucks we won't have Andrews, but everyone's playing so well. He has some good running backs too.
At first glance, none of these.
Here's a good point too from Mark Jurel. You don't have to be inactive not to play.
That's a great point.
It's one of those things too where it doesn't give you as much roster flexibility. Mm-hmm. You don't want to have 10 guys in your active roster you're not planning on playing. But at the same time too, that's one of those things where we weren't going to play this guy because we're resting him, and then 3 people got hurt. Well, we'll play him, I guess. Like things like that happen.
What do we think about the fact that Kansas City is dogs at LA when LA couldn't even beat Jared Stidham with a bunch of freaking guys they got off the street today at wide receiver?
I wonder.
Like, I know it's going to be the Blaine Gabbert experience, probably. At least that's the way the market assumes. But maybe Mahomes plays. Does Mahomes have some sort of active streak going? I don't think he does.
Yeah. So I don't know what's the deal with like a 3-way tie at 11 and a 3-way tie at 11-6. It would be a 2-way tie between Kansas City and Miami and Buffalo. I guess I'm assuming that Kansas City is just locked into the 3 with this market. Yeah, Kansas City lost to Buffalo. Kansas City, did they play Miami? Why can't I remember a game like that? I don't know. It must be tiebreaker stuff. Kansas City's locked into the 3. Okay.
Kansas City's stuck in the 3, yeah. They're locked in. The winner of Miami Buffalo is your 2 seed, period.
Yep.
The loser is either Miami the 6 or Buffalo the holding on for.
So you got a game that doesn't matter in LA, but you have Easton Stick playing it. I kind of want that one to get better.
Well, see, here's the question. Maybe they are going to put Buffalo Miami in this Sunday night game because Buffalo can fall out.
Thank you.
Actually, Buffalo's going to know there's a chance that if they don't put Buffalo Miami on Saturday night, that Buffalo knows that they're already in before Saturday night.
This is one of my biggest regrets. I took Buffalo to make the playoffs. Didn't have the guts to bet them to win the division.
You have none of that?
No. They were like 4 or 5 to 1 just
5 weeks in a row, man.
They were. I was happy with the. Oh Jesus, you gotta call that.
Bad no call.
I was happy with just to make the playoffs. I didn't think they could do this. I thought they'd sneak. They were 6-6, man. And this is the other thing too. Like I agree with Kevin here.
How come every other defense I needed to play competent prevent played incompetent prevent, and the Packers are playing competent prevent defense? What's the deal?
It's annoying.
I could have used some competent prevent defense from a lot of teams this weekend, and it didn't come.
The Indianapolis prevent was pretty fucking rough.
Oh, the Indy.
Any other takes on next week's game?
I mean,
let's go Nick Mullins.
The Raiders probably ought to be in greater consideration because they have been effectively eliminated forever, right? Like they weren't playing hard because they thought they saw a chance at the playoffs. Like they played hard because they love their coach.
Do you think that total's a little high?
Absolutely.
I could see that getting bet down to like 36.
For sure. And honestly, just because like I think you just have to acknowledge that that defense might be good. So
Bears next week. Yeah.
Bears in the same situation. There's a lot of Bears that are playing for their role on this team next year, and Green Bay might be locked in. So I don't know.
A lot of Bears. Bears are not a great matchup for Green Bay right now unless they get healthy. Have they mentioned? Is it Jair just a 1-game suspension?
I don't know, man. That was such an egregious offense. He could probably be cut.
Dude, in like Singapore, it's the death penalty.
Death penalty, right? Caning, at least, at a minimum.
Caning, a full caning.
Dude, reeds under the fingernails. You gotta teach him a lesson.
My favorite part of that whole part is the interview afterwards, where he's just like, yeah, it's like obviously they didn't know I was from Charlotte, and there's no like evidence he's from Charlotte.
I just like Charlotte. I like the people there.
Yeah, I was mystified by the charms of the city.
Bears versus Queen Packers. City. It's the Queen
fun
City.
That Bears versus Packers means something.
It's a Queen City, and I love Queens. I don't know why this is so complicated.
There's like 9. Yeah, and Jair, that's the thing. That's where I wonder because it does not feel like he's going to be on this team.
I mean, honestly, the entire incident made me think Jair Alexander is suffering from a massive head injury, and they're just not telling us about it.
I was going to say, Cincy's always been the Queen City for me.
Queen City? The Charlotte is the Queen City of the South.
I lived with a girl who has like a master's in French too. Like I should be so much better at French. Not good at it.
Do you have any French champagne on tap for tonight? Because it is New Year's Eve and we're about to
I'm staying up that late.
All right, let's call this pod.
Let's call her a night. Guys, thanks for 2023.
Let's go crack some Veuve Clicquot. Let's go crack some
Look at this burn. I touched the oven.
Tatnier. Hopefully
do
we get a Vikings touchdown out of this drive. If not, we still love you guys.
Yeah. Appreciate you.
Back
Thanks
to
for
normal
the
this week
thumbs
on
up.
Wednesday.
Yes, back to normal schedule.
All right, man.
Next year.
Hey, man. Happy New Year to you. Happy New Year to your family.
Be safe, you guys. Don't drink
Seriously.
and drive. If you're listening to this tomorrow,
Please
don't
do
do it
not
tomorrow
drink and
either.
drive.
You live in the golden age of Ubers.
Whatever
You know how
you
hard
do.
it was for me to get a ride when I was like 20?
Whatever you do. There is a much greater chance you will regret drinking and driving than regretting taking an Uber. I promise you. Like the asymmetry here, the long tail, the fat tail.
I would have
The fat tail
everywhere.
is of
Would've
consequences on drinking and
everywhere.
driving. There's a very thin tail. Getting an Uber. These are just facts.
It's a true story.
I'm not even.
Video.
There we go. We got a long third down here. Fucking Nick Mullins isn't making this easy for us, man.
I think he was out of bounds. It was close.
Are they gonna review it?
I mean, you're up by 23. Throw a red flag in this. Oh, he was so out. What is that ref looking at? You know what I got to do here? I got to end the stream. I didn't do this last